mention in your book that perhaps the best example of the relevance of human capital is the rebuilding of Japan and Germany after the war, right?
Yes.
Your point being that there they were defeated countries with no capital, with no credit.
No physical capital.
No physical capital, and no credit.
Yes.
And here they are.
That's right. Well, John Stuart, this is not a new thing, although we talk about the German miracle and Japanese miracle. John Stuart Mill in the middle of the 19th century pointed out that countries do often have almost miraculous recoveries from devastations of war. He argued that the physical capital is going to wear out anyway, and it's going to have to be replaced anyway. And what really matters is, do they have the human capital to replace the physical capital? Conversely, you may have all sorts of transfer programs in which vast amounts of physical capital change hands, either because of foreign aid programs or because of confiscations, nationalizations of foreign enterprises, and so forth. And yet, if the people who acquire this capital don't have the human capital to maintain it and reproduce it, it's only a matter of time before it begins to rust, to wear out, need spare parts, etc. And you've had a one-shot confiscation, but it really hasn't done anything in the long run.
Is there kind of a natural entropy that whittles away at human capital, or are you satisfied that it can be self-generating, as for instance seems to be in Switzerland, doesn't it?
Yes, there is a tendency of this human capital to sort of be like water seeking its own level. Mm-hmm. That is, in a country where there's a great deal of a certain kind of skill, that skill will not be as productive as in some other country where it's scarce. And so you, for example, find the British developing the steel industry and the railroads, and then they'll move to Germany to build steel industries and railroads in Germany, and even to man them in the early stage, because there were no qualified Germans, if you can use those kinds of terms these days. But then at some point, the Germans began to do this for themselves, and then they began to move into Latin America, and much of the industrialization of the southern part of Brazil is in fact by Germans, not by Portuguese. And much of the industrialization of Russia was by people who were not Russian. They were Germans, they were English, they were Jews, they were all sorts of other groups, almost anything other than Russian. Japan is another example where once they were exposed to the Western technology, they seized upon it and then sort of took the ball and ran with it themselves. There are other cases where the stuff comes in and it sits there, and the people around them don't seize upon it. And again, these are areas where I would like to know the answers, but at this point, I'm happy just to be able to ask the questions, because those questions have been ignored so much.